Are you tired of riding your bike around? Are you tired of all the little tiny falls that you have now and again? Well, maybe it's time that you got your driver's license. Hey guys, Bob Moses here, and today we are playing San Andreas multiplayer on the Welcome to Los Santos 2 server, and we're going to be talking all about the various licenses that you can get within the game. So there are 4: a motorbike license, car license, boat license, and aeroplane license. And the first one that we're going to be working on is the bike license out here in Las Venturas. It's out near Greenglass College. You can also find them by going /GPS. And to do all of the licenses, fortunately, it's much easier than in the single player game. All we need to do is 1 challenge per license to get it. And each of the licenses has their own benefits and unique reward that you're going to get from it. So I would recommend, even if you're a pro driver, go ahead and get your licenses. So for the motorbike one, all you really need to do is drive around in the circle 1 time. I don't really think the time limit has a big impact on that. Just stay within the cones and you should be good. Sometimes the camera doesn't turn around nicely as you spin around, so I actually like to go into first person mode while I'm driving. You'll see when we do the car one in a little while, it actually works quite nicely there as well. And basically, we're just going to drive around in the circle. Should only take us about 30 seconds. And we're going to do our 5 laps and pass that license nice and easily. So it doesn't really matter what score you get. So if you get bronze, silver, gold, doesn't really matter. But what you're going to see now is that we've unlocked a free NRG. They're not FT, so they don't have like gauge, and I don't think they have bulletproof tires or anything, but they do have armor, so that's quite nice. And yeah, if you ever need an NRG, you're going to be able to find them parked over there. Next one, we're going to go and do our aeroplane license. So this one is probably the most difficult one to do, and you're going to find this out in Verdant Meadows, which is right up in the north of Las Venturas, up in the desert. And people do seem to struggle with this one. Fortunately, again, it's not as hard as the single player. You only need to do 1. But there is a bit of a trick to this. So the first thing you want to do is, as you start to pull away on the runway, watch the tail of the aeroplane. It's going to start to lift up like that. When it does, that's when you're going to start to pull up by pressing S on your keyboard, and press 2 to bring in your landing gear. You're not going to be able to climb high enough, or you're going to struggle to climb high enough with the landing gear out. So if you're having difficulties getting up to the top ring, then just press 2 to put your landing gear back in and you should be good. The other piece of advice I would give you is, once you've hit the right altitude, so once you're high enough, stop pressing W on the keyboard. You don't need to actually press forward to accelerate anymore. You will have enough speed to maintain your height, and it's going to make it a bit easier to go a little bit slower while you do this. You can adjust your rudders using Q and E to turn harder, but you shouldn't really need to. You should be fine. Just simply not pressing W is going to make it much easier to do this license. Also remember, don't shoot while you're doing this. So if you do start shooting the rustler guns, you're going to be disqualified. So keep your finger off the trigger while you do that. And then the last thing you're going to have to do for this one is to land back at the runway. It's pretty easy. Just put your landing gear down and start pressing S as quickly as you can. You just hold it down. You're going to drop your speed quite easily. And if you just bounce along the runway, it doesn't really matter. Then if you need to turn while you're on the ground, you're going to use E and Q to do that. And it should be pretty easy to do. You shouldn't have too much trouble if you take it nice and slow. There are 2 benefits or 2 rewards for doing the license out here for your aeroplane. First one, you're going to get a stunt plane that spawns in the hangar. It didn't spawn that time I was playing for some reason. And the other benefit, which is probably even more important, is it's going to give you the ability to save hangars, which is really important. Then the next one that we're going to do is out here in Bayside. It's at the end of this marina. If we just bring up the map, if you're not familiar with where Bayside is. And if we go into this building, there's going to be another little computer or TV thing to start your license. This one's super easy. You're just going to ride around in a little circuit on the boat. And you shouldn't really have too much difficulty with that. There's not really any tricks to it either, I guess. Just if you're struggling, which you shouldn't, and just go a little bit slower, but you should be fine. The rewards for doing the boating exam is it's going to give you the ability to purchase a marina, so you won't be able to save your boats without doing this exam. And then you're also going to get a really nice speedboat called a Squalor, I think it's called, and we will check that out once we finish the exam. So it's quite nice, you get yourself a free boat. You can't call it in with the mechanic, but you can come pick it up in Bayside and go for a ride. But again, more importantly, you're going to get your marina to save your boats. Cool, and if we go have a look at our Squalor, which is a speedboat, it's that one over there. It's actually a really nice boat, so if you want to go do some fishing or something like that, you should go pick up your free boat and go for a ride with that one. And then the final exam we're going to be doing is our driver's license, and this you're going to find out in San Fierro, which is right next to or very close to the cocaine lockups, if you're familiar with that. And again, we only need to do one challenge, thankfully. I remember this was an absolute nightmare to do in the single player, trying to flip the cars and everything, but you don't have to do that, fortunately. We're just going to go in and do very similar to the motorbike course. Just going to do the circles. Again, if you're struggling, just go into first person mode. For some reason, I find it just a little bit easier. We're going to run through our 5 laps, which should only, again, take about 30 seconds. And then the reward we're going to get for this is going to be the hot ring races. And again, they're going to have armor and stuff like that. So that's quite cool. So if you've been driving in San Fierro and you see the hot ring races parked outside, once you get your license, those will be unlocked for you. And yeah, I think it's, again, it's free. It's easy to do. You might as well go out and do that. Alrighty, and if we go and take a look at the hot ring, go out front, should be parked over there. Hopefully one spawned in. Yep, we're all good. And there's usually 2 parked over here as well. I guess somebody took the other one. And yeah, it's got nice armor. It's all good. That's going to be it for this video. If you found it useful, please feel free to give a like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you've had any struggles with this, but you should be good. And until next time, this is Bob Moses signing out for Samp Stories.